Hi everyone, I'm making this video today because I've been told that most people believe that Apollo is real, and from my experience seems to be the case. There's a lot of people out there that think Apollo happened. Well, I'm here to tell you today that it couldn't have happened, and the reason is quite simple. It was simply too hot. You know, the higher up you go, the less atmosphere between you and the sun, the hotter it gets. Also, you know, the sun has its own cycles, and 1972 was a solar maximum. Between 1969 and 1972 was a solar maximum. It was hot. I even remember how hot it was back in those years. You know, it was hot. When Apollo launched in 20th of June 1969, it was 84.5 degrees Fahrenheit already at 6:30 in the morning. It was a very hot summer. But the fact is, the higher you go up in the atmosphere, the less atmosphere there is between you and the sun, and the hotter it gets. If you're on an aircraft and you're on the sunny side, you know, there's a shade there. There's a plastic shade that you can pull down, and that will stop the heat of the sun from, you know, burning you. You'll never really burn that much in an aircraft, because one of the things that determines how badly affected you are is the time that you're in the sun. Now, if you're on the International Space Station, for example, you've got an orbital period of 2 hours, so you're in the sun for an hour at a time. So half the spacecraft is perhaps in the sun for half of that time. So, but even then, you know, I recently witnessed, as I suspected, in the International Space Station, they have huge protectors over the window. They look like the lids of an Aga cooker, if you've ever seen those. They're about 4 or 5 inches thick, and they operate by, you know, electric motor from the inside. The control from the inside. You just press a button, and the lid comes over the window and protects it. And the rest of the craft must be equally well insulated to survive the baking heat of, you know, the sun, the glare of the sun, without any atmosphere. Apollo never had that. They never had 4 inches thick insulation anywhere in the craft. And they were 150 hours on the trot. That's impossible. There was no cooling system. There was one cooling system for the machines, but, you know, those machines used to run hot anyway. And that cooling system was just so that they didn't actually break down, and their breakdown temperature would have been pretty high, too high for humans. You know, it would have been perishingly high. So the cooling system for the machines weren't enough. And those cooling systems would have been pretty hard work to keep the craft even at that very high temperature. You know, the sun was baking that craft. So if you ask NASA the explanation for this, they tell you, well, the craft rotated as it went on its journey to the moon, and the dark side of the craft would have been exposed to the extreme cold of space. Now, this is complete nonsense. The entire craft was inside the vacuum of space, which is a good insulator. So as that baked noontime sun side of the craft rotated round to the nighttime side, you know, every 4 or 5 minutes or whatever it was, it wouldn't have cooled down. It would be like your soup in a vacuum flask. You know, it stays hot all morning, right up until lunchtime. It's still piping hot, thanks to the insulative power of the vacuum, the insulative quality of the vacuum. So the other thing they tell you is that the craft landed on the evening side of the moon. Again, yes, it may have landed nearer the Terminator, but that isn't any cooler than anywhere else on the moon. All the moon is about the same distance away from the sun, just like all the Earth. But where it's light on the moon, you're exposed to the full glare of the sun, whereas on Earth, on the evening side, there's more atmosphere between you and the sun. On the moon, that's not the case. So it doesn't matter where you are on the moon. The shadows might be longer nearer the Terminator, but it's all hot in the sunshine. So again, another piece of nonsense. is that space is 4 degrees Kelvin. It's really, really cold. It's not true. Space is not cold. It's an insulative. It's an insulator. So, it depends where you are in space as to how warm it is. But if you're in the glare of the sun, anywhere near planet Earth, you can be sure it's going to be unbearably hot. And you better take protection. And I don't just mean sun cream. Okay, well that's it. As far as I'm concerned, the argument's dead in the water. But if you've got anything to say, please leave a comment. I'd be really glad to hear anybody explain, because nobody has been able to explain to me so far how it was possible that Apollo survived the heat of the journey to the moon and back. Thank you.